but here comes the real treasure story. Certain high-grade examples of the 1968 D Lincoln cent have been sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Why? Because grading plays a huge role. Coins are graded on a scale, and the higher the grade, the rarer the coin becomes. A near-perfect coin with sharp details, no scratches, and strong luster can command serious money in the market, and then there are error coins. Error coins are where things get truly exciting. A 1968 D penny with a double die, off-center strike, or other minting mistake can be worth a lot more than a normal coin. Collectors love errors because they are unique and rare. Imagine finding a coin in your pocket change that could be worth hundreds or even thousands. That is the thrill of coin collecting. Now let's address the number you have been waiting for. Some rare and high-grade 1968 D Lincoln pennies have reached values like $768 or even higher depending on condition and uniqueness. While $768.659 may sound very specific, real auction prices vary, but the point is clear. This small coin has the potential to be worth a lot more than 1 cent. The history of this coin is also connected to an important time in the United States. The late 1960s were a period of change and transformation. Despite the challenges of that era, the Lincoln cent continued to be produced as a symbol of stability and tradition. It remained a part of everyday life, passing through millions of hands, each coin carrying a story. Another interesting detail is the metal composition. The 1968 penny is made mostly of copper, which gives it that classic reddish-brown color. Over time, coins can turn darker due to oxidation, and this affects their value. Bright red coins are always more valuable than brown ones. So how can you tell if your 1968 D penny is valuable? Start by checking the condition. Look at the shine, the details in Lincoln's face, and the lettering. Then check for any unusual features like doubling or misalignment. If you think you have something special, it might be worth getting it professionally graded. Coin collecting is not just about money. It is about history, discovery, and excitement. Every coin has a story, and sometimes that story leads to unexpected treasure. The 1968 D Lincoln cent is a perfect example of how something so small can hold so much value. So next time you see a penny, do not ignore it. Take a closer look. You might be holding a hidden gem. And who knows, that simple coin in your hand could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the legendary 1975 D Liberty 1 cent coin, a simple copper penny that might be sitting quietly in your collection but could be worth far more than you ever imagined. When you hear the words 1 cent coin, you probably think of something small, something common, something easily ignored. But in the world of coin collecting, even the smallest coin can carry a massive story and an even bigger value. The 1975 D Lincoln penny is one of those coins that captures attention not because of what it looks like at first glance, but because of what it represents in history, rarity, and collector demand. This coin belongs to the famous Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, making it revolutionary at the time. By 1975, the Lincoln cent had already become one of the most recognized coins in the world. Now let's talk about the 1975 D Mint mark. The letter D stands for the Denver Mint, one of the main facilities responsible for producing circulating coins in the United States. Millions of pennies were minted there in 1975, which might make you think this coin is very common. And yes, in general, it is common. But here is where things get exciting. Not all 1975 D pennies are created equal. Some of them have rare errors, exceptional condition, or unique characteristics that can push their value from just 1 cent to hundreds or even thousands of dollars. That is where the magic begins. Let's explore the history behind this coin. In 1975, the United States was going through economic changes, inflation concerns, and increasing production costs for coins. The Lincoln penny at that time was still made primarily of copper, giving it that rich brown or reddish shine collectors love. These coins were produced in massive quantities to keep up with demand, but quality control was not always perfect, and that is exactly what collectors look for today. Now imagine holding a coin that was made nearly 50 years ago. A coin that passed through countless hands, survived decades of change, and still carries its original design. That alone gives it historical value. But when we talk about market value, things become even more interesting. A regular circulated 1975 D penny is usually worth only a few cents, maybe slightly more than its face value. But if you find one in uncirculated condition, meaning it was never used in daily transactions and still has its original shine, the value can jump significantly. Collectors are always searching for coins in mint state condition, often graded by professional services. Now let's talk about the real treasure, rare varieties and errors. Some 1975 D pennies have been discovered with striking errors such as double die, off-center strikes, or unusual metal composition. These errors can turn an ordinary penny into a highly desirable collectible. In the coin market today, certain high-grade 1975 D pennies have been valued at hundreds of dollars, and in extremely rare cases, listings and speculative values can reach figures like $768.658 depending on condition, grading, and uniqueness. While that number may sound surprising, it reflects how passionate collectors are when it comes to rare finds. Condition is everything. A shiny red uncirculated coin is far more valuable than a worn brown one. Coins are often graded on a scale from poor condition all the way up to mint state perfection. The closer your coin is to perfection, the higher its potential value. Another important factor is demand. The Lincoln Penny series is one of the most widely collected in the world. Millions of collectors are constantly searching for key dates, rare errors, and high-grade coins. This demand keeps the market alive and constantly evolving. Now here is something important for you as a collector or treasure hunter. Always check your coins carefully. Look for the mint mark under the date. Examine the surface for unusual patterns or doubling. Pay attention to the color and shine. Sometimes the smallest detail can make the biggest difference. The beauty of coin collecting is that anyone can start. You do not need expensive equipment or years of experience. All you need is curiosity and attention to detail. That penny in your pocket could be a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. The 1975 D Liberty 1-cent coin is more than just money. It is history, art, and opportunity combined into one small piece of metal. It reminds us that value is not always obvious and that sometimes the most overlooked can hold the greatest rewards. So next time you come across a penny, do not ignore it. Take a closer look. Because in the world of RF coins, every coin has a story, and some stories are worth a fortune. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins that collectors and treasure hunters are still searching for across America and beyond, the legendary 1976 D Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that may look simple but can carry surprising value and history that could completely change the way you look at your pocket change forever. Imagine holding a coin that connects you directly to history, a coin that carries the image of one of the greatest leaders ever, Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of unity, strength, and resilience. The Lincoln penny has been a part of American life since 1909 and continues to be one of the most collected coins in the world. But today we are not talking about just any penny. We are focusing on the 1976 D version, a coin minted during a very special time in United States history. The year 1976 was not ordinary. It marked the 200th anniversary of the United States, the bicentennial celebration, a time when patriotism was at its peak and everything related to American history gained massive attention. While special designs were used for quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins, the Lincoln penny continued its classic design, quietly being produced in millions at the Denver Mint, known by the D Mint mark. Now here is where things get interesting. Most people think a penny is just 1 cent, something you ignore or drop without thinking. But collectors know the truth. Certain pennies, especially from years like 1976 D, can be worth far more depending on condition, rarity, and unique errors. The 1976 D penny was produced by United States Mint in Denver, and millions were made. However, not all coins are created equal. The difference between a common penny and a valuable one lies in the details, the shine, the strike, and sometimes tiny minting mistakes that make a coin rare and highly desirable. Let's talk about value, the part everyone is waiting for. In circulated condition, a typical 1976 penny might only be worth a few cents more than face value. But when you move into higher grades, things start to change dramatically. Uncirculated coins, especially those with a strong red color and sharp details, can sell for much higher prices. Collectors are always searching for coins that look almost untouched, as if they just left the mint, and then come the rare cases, the coins that shock the market. Some high-grade examples of the 1976 penny have reached values that surprise even experienced collectors. Reports and collector discussions suggest that exceptional specimens, especially those graded at the very top levels, can reach hundreds or even thousands of dollars. You may have seen numbers like $768.657 being discussed as a possible high-end market value, and while not every coin reaches that level, it shows the potential hidden in this small copper piece. But value is not just about condition. Errors can turn an ordinary coin into a jackpot. Imagine finding a 1976 penny with a double die effect, where the letters appear slightly doubled, or a coin with an off-center strike that makes it unique. These errors are rare, and rarity is what drives value in the coin collecting world. The design itself also plays a huge role in its popularity. On the front, you see the calm and powerful profile of Abraham Lincoln, a design that has remained iconic for over a century. On the back, the Lincoln Memorial stands proudly, representing history, strength, and national pride. Coins from this era carry a sense of nostalgia and connection that collectors deeply appreciate. Now let's talk about what you should look for if you want to find one of these valuable coins. First, check the date carefully, make sure it says 1976 and look just below the date for the D mint mark. That small letter is incredibly important because it tells you the coin was minted in Denver. Next, examine the color. Coins that still have a bright red shine are usually more valuable than dull brown ones. Pay close attention to details. Look at Lincoln's hair, the lettering, and the edges. Sharp and clear details mean the coin was not heavily circulated. Also keep an eye out for anything unusual, misprints, doubling, or strange shapes, because those small differences could mean big money. The beauty of coin collecting is that anyone can start. You do not need expensive tools or special connections. All you need is curiosity, patience, and a willingness to look closely at the coins you already have. That penny sitting in your drawer or lying forgotten in your pocket could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Collectors around the world continue to hunt for coins like the 1976 Lincoln penny because of the excitement it brings. The thrill of discovery, the possibility of turning a 1-cent coin into hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and the connection to history all combine to make this hobby truly addictive. So next time you see a penny, do not ignore it. Pick it up, examine it, and remember that every coin has a story. Some stories are ordinary, but others are extraordinary, waiting to be discovered by someone just like. Today we are diving into a 1-cent coin that most people ignore, but collectors quietly hunt for: the 1988 Liberty 1-cent coin from the United States. This tiny copper-colored coin carries the image of Abraham Lincoln, a leader whose legacy shaped American history and whose portrait has appeared on the penny for over a century, since 1909, when the design was first introduced to honor his 100th birthday. At first glance, the 1988 penny may look ordinary, but in the world of coin collecting, ordinary can sometimes mean hidden treasure, because small details, small errors, and small variations can turn a simple 1-cent coin into something worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The 1988 penny was produced by the United States Mint in massive quantities across its main facilities, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and because of this, millions of these coins entered circulation, which is why most people still find them in pocket change even today. But here is where things start to get exciting. Not all 1988 pennies are the same. Some carry rare characteristics that collectors are willing to pay serious money for, especially those in high-grade condition or with minting errors. The standard 1988 penny is composed mostly of zinc with a thin copper coating, a composition that began in 1982 when rising copper prices forced a change from the older solid copper coins. This means your 1988 penny is lighter and slightly different from earlier versions, yet still holds that classic Appearance that collectors love. Now let us talk about value, because that is what brings curiosity and excitement for most people. In circulated condition, a normal 1988 penny is worth exactly 1 cent, but when you move into uncirculated grades the value can rise to a few dollars and sometimes more depending on condition and mint mark. However, the real story begins with rare varieties such as the famous 1988 double die penny, where the lettering shows a slight doubling effect. This happens due to a misalignment during the minting process, and collectors search intensely for these variations because they are limited and unique. Coins graded in top condition by professional grading companies can reach impressive prices, especially those rated MS65 or higher, where the surfaces remain nearly flawless and the original shine is still intact. These coins can sell for tens or even hundreds of dollars depending on demand. And then there are extreme cases, coins that have unusual minting errors, off-center strikes or die clashes. These can push the value much higher, sometimes reaching extraordinary figures like the kind of number that surprises everyone, such as a reported market hype value reaching over $700 or more for rare and exceptional specimens. Imagine holding a coin that once bought almost nothing but today could be worth a small fortune. That is the magic of coin collecting. It turns everyday objects into historical artifacts and financial opportunities. The reverse side of the 1988 penny features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was used from 1959 to 2008 before being replaced by newer designs, and this iconic building connects the coin directly to American heritage, making it even more meaningful for collectors around the world. Collectors also pay close attention to mint marks, a small letter under the date that tells you where the coin was made. Coins from Denver carry a D, while those from San Francisco may carry an S, and proof coins from San Francisco are especially valued for their mirror-like finish and sharp details. Condition is everything in the coin world. A worn coin may only be worth face value, but a perfectly preserved coin can multiply its worth dramatically, which is why serious collectors store their coins carefully, avoiding scratches, moisture and handling damage. If you want to check your own 1988 penny, look closely at the date, the lettering and the surface shine. Use a magnifying glass if possible and search for anything unusual, doubling errors or pristine condition, because you might already have a valuable coin without even realizing it. The journey of the 1988 Liberty penny is not just about money, it is about history, craftsmanship and the thrill of discovery. Every coin carries a story from the moment it was minted to the hands it passed through over decades. So next time you see a simple 1-cent coin, do not ignore it. Take a closer look, because hidden in your pocket could be a piece of history worth far more than its face value. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and mysterious coins in modern American history, the legendary 1992 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance but can be worth a shocking amount of money if you know what to look for. Imagine holding a simple penny, something most people ignore, something that gets lost in drawers or dropped on the street without a second thought. Now imagine that same penny being worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. That is exactly the case with the rare 1992 Lincoln cent, a coin that has become one of the most talked about treasures among collectors. This coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front, a design that has been part of American coinage since 1909. Lincoln's calm and dignified face represents history, leadership, and the legacy of the United States. On the reverse, you will find the Lincoln Memorial design, a symbol of honor and remembrance that remained on pennies until 2008. But what makes the 1992 penny so special is not just its design. It is a tiny detail, something so small that most people would never notice it. This is what collectors call the close AM variety. In normal coins from this era, the letters A and M in the word America are slightly separated. However, in the rare version, these letters are very close together, almost touching. This small difference turns an ordinary coin into a rare collectible. Only a very limited number of these coins were accidentally produced at the Denver Mint, which is why they carry the D Mint mark. Because of this minting error, the coin has become extremely valuable in the collector market. Now let us talk about value, because this is where things get really exciting. A regular 1992 penny is only worth its face value, just 1 cent. But if you have the rare close AM variety, the value can skyrocket. In circulated condition, it can be worth hundreds of dollars. In higher grades, the value can reach thousands. Some examples of this coin have sold for over $700, and in exceptional condition, even more. The market value you mentioned, around $768.655, reflects how serious collectors are about owning this rare piece. The better the condition, the higher the price. Coins that are bright, uncirculated, and free of scratches can bring the highest returns. The history behind this coin adds even more excitement. In the early 1990s, the United States Mint was transitioning between design styles and die production methods. During this time, a few proof dies were accidentally used to strike regular circulation coins. This mistake created the close AM variety, which was never intended for general use. Collectors love errors like this because they tell a story. They represent a moment in time when something unusual happened during production. Each rare coin is like a piece of history that escaped into the world unnoticed. Finding one of these coins is like winning a small lottery. People search through rolls of pennies, jars of loose change, and old collections hoping to discover this hidden treasure. It takes patience, attention to detail, and a bit of luck. If you want to check your own coins, look closely at the word America on the back. Use a magnifying glass if possible. If the A and M are nearly touching, you might have something special. Also check the mint mark under the date. The letter D confirms it was minted in Denver. Condition also plays a major role. Coins that are worn down will still have value, but coins that look almost new can be worth much more. Collectors grade coins based on their appearance, shine, and level of detail. The 1992 D Close AM penny proves that even the smallest coin can hold incredible value. It reminds us that treasure does not always come in gold or silver. Sometimes it is hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone to notice. For collectors and beginners alike, this coin is a perfect example of why coin collecting is so exciting. Every coin has a story, and some stories are worth a fortune. So next time you come across a penny, do not ignore it. Take a closer look. That simple coin in your hand could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Today you are about to discover the hidden power of a single penny that most people ignore every single day. This is not just any coin, this is the Liberty 1994 D Lincoln 1 cent, and what you are about to hear might completely change the way you look at your pocket change forever. Imagine holding a simple copper-colored coin in your hand, something that feels ordinary, something that people toss into jars without a second thought. But what if I told you that some of these coins are quietly worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars in today's market? Yes, a single penny turning into serious money, and that is exactly why collectors all over the world are hunting for rare versions of the 1994 D Lincoln cent. Right now let's begin with the history, because every valuable coin has a story, and this one starts with one of the most iconic figures in American history, Abraham Lincoln. His portrait has been on the Lincoln cent since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs ever produced in the United States. By 1994, the coin was already a classic, still being produced by the powerful United States Mint, and specifically this version carries the D Mint mark, which means it was struck in Denver. Now you might be thinking, millions of these coins were made, so how could any be valuable? That is where things get exciting. Not all coins are created equal. Some have rare mint errors, some have perfect condition grades, and some have unique features that collectors are willing to pay huge money for. The 1994 D Lincoln penny was produced in large numbers, but only a tiny fraction survived in flawless condition. Coins that are graded MS-67 or higher are extremely rare. These coins look almost perfect, with sharp details, strong shine, and no visible damage. When a coin reaches this level, its value can jump dramatically. In the current market, an average circulated 1994 D penny is worth just 1 cent, nothing special. But when you find a high-grade uncirculated version, the value can rise to $10, $50, even $100 depending on its quality. And here is where it becomes truly shocking. Some top-graded examples have reached values close to $700 or even more in auctions. That is where numbers like $768.654 come into the conversation, representing top market potential for near-perfect specimens. But wait, there is more. The real treasure hunters are not just looking for clean coins, they are searching for errors. Error coins are the hidden jackpots of the coin world. A small mistake during the minting process can turn an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. For the 1994 D Lincoln cent, you should look for off-center strikes, double die errors, and die cracks. These errors are rare, and when found, they can push the value far beyond normal coins. Some error coins have sold for hundreds or even thousands depending on how unique and visible the mistake is. Another important factor is color. Yes, even the color of your penny matters. Collectors classify pennies as red, red-brown, or brown. A full red coin with its original mint luster is much more valuable than a dull brown one. So if you find a bright shiny 1994 D penny, you might be holding something special. Now let's talk about why collectors are so obsessed with coins like this. It is not just about money, it is about rarity, history, and the thrill of discovery. Every coin tells a story, from the moment it was struck in Denver to the journey it took through people's hands over decades. And sometimes, that journey ends in the hands of a collector willing to pay big money for the right piece. Think about it. How many times have you ignored pennies, left them on the table, or thrown them into a drawer? What if one of those coins was actually worth hundreds of dollars? That is why smart collectors always check their coins carefully. So here is what you need to do right now. Go and check your coins. Look for the year 1994 and the small d mint mark under the date. Examine the coin under light, check for shine, check for errors, check for anything unusual. Because the next valuable coin could already be in your home. And remember, coin collecting is not just a hobby, it is a treasure hunt. Every coin you check brings you one. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and underrated coins in American history, the 1994 Liberty 1-cent coin, also known as the famous Lincoln cent. At first glance it looks like just another small copper coin, something you might ignore in your pocket, but what if I told you that some of these coins have shocked collectors with surprising value and hidden potential? The 1994 1-cent coin carries the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of strength, unity, and American history. This design has been part of American coinage since 1909, making it one of the longest-running designs in the world. By 1994, the coin was already a familiar sight, but that does not mean it was ordinary. In fact, this year holds secrets that collectors are still searching for today. Now let us talk about composition and minting. The 1994 Lincoln cent was made primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating. This change happened in the early 1980s to reduce production costs. Even though the material changed, the design remained powerful and symbolic. The coin was minted in 3 major locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint produced coins with slight differences, and these differences are where value begins to grow. The Philadelphia mint coins usually have no mint mark, while the Denver coins carry a small d below the date. The San Francisco mint produced proof coins, which are specially made for collectors with a mirror-like finish and sharp details. These proof coins are often the most valuable when preserved in perfect condition. Now comes the exciting part, the market value. Most 1994 pennies in circulated condition are worth only 1 cent, but the story changes dramatically when we look at condition, rarity, and errors. A high-grade uncirculated 1994 Lincoln cent can sell for several dollars, sometimes even more depending on its grading. Coins graded MS-67 or higher are extremely rare and can reach hundreds of dollars in auctions. But here is where things become truly exciting. Error coins from 1994 can reach astonishing values. Coins with double die errors, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet mistakes have been known to sell for hundreds and even thousands of dollars. Imagine finding a tiny mistake that turns a simple coin into a collector's dream. There are also special cases where collectors have reported coins reaching values close to the high figures often talked about online, such as $768 or even more. These are not ordinary coins. These are top-condition pieces, rare errors, or unique minting variations that make them stand out in the world of coin collecting. The demand for Lincoln cents remains strong because they are affordable to start with and full of history. Every coin tells a story, and the 1994 penny is no different. It represents a time when coin production was evolving, materials were changing, and collectors were becoming more interested in modern issues. If you are searching your pocket change or coin jars, do not overlook the 1994 penny. Look closely at the details. Check the mint mark. Examine the surface for unusual features. A small difference can mean a big payday. Many valuable coins have been discovered by ordinary people who simply paid attention. For collectors, grading is everything. Coins in pristine condition with no scratches, strong luster, and perfect details are the ones that attract serious buyers. Professional grading services can certify your coin and significantly increase its value in the market. The beauty of coin collecting is that anyone can start. You do not need a huge investment. Sometimes all it takes is curiosity and patience. The 1994 Liberty 1-cent coin proves that even modern coins can hold incredible value if you know what to look for. So next time you see a penny, do not ignore it. It could be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. And here at RFCONS, we bring you closer to these hidden stories, helping you turn knowledge into opportunity. Today we are diving deep into one of the most surprising coins you might have in your pocket right now, the 1997 D Lincoln cent, a simple 1-cent coin that most people ignore but collectors never overlook. This coin belongs to the legendary Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor one of the most respected leaders in American history, Abraham Lincoln. For decades, this coin has captured the imagination of collectors around the world, and the 1997 D version is no exception. The D mint mark on this coin tells us it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the major coin-producing facilities in the United States. Millions of these coins were produced, but here is where things get interesting. Not all coins are created equal at first glance. The 1997 D Lincoln penny looks ordinary. On the front, you see Lincoln's portrait with the word Liberty proudly displayed, along with the year 1997 and the mint mark D. On the reverse, you will find the Lincoln Memorial, a design that remained on pennies from 1959 until 2008, but collectors know something the average person does not know. Hidden among these millions of coins are rare varieties, mint errors, and high-grade specimens that can turn a simple penny into a valuable treasure. Let's talk about value, because that is what everyone wants to know. A normal circulated 1997 D penny is usually worth just 1 cent. Yes, just face value. But when you step into the world of coin grading, everything changes. Coins are graded on their condition, and uncirculated coins with sharp details and original mint shine are much more valuable. In high grades like MS-65 or MS-67, this coin can sell for several dollars, sometimes even reaching surprising prices at auction. Now here is where the excitement really begins. If you find a 1997 D penny with a mint error, the value can jump dramatically. Some of the most valuable errors include double die varieties, off-center strikes, and coins struck on the wrong planchet. These errors are rare, and collectors are always searching for them. There have been cases where rare Lincoln cents have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the uniqueness and condition. While the figure of $768.652 may sound unbelievable for a 1997 D penny, it becomes possible when you are dealing with a perfect condition coin or a rare mint error that collectors compete for. Another important factor is color. Collectors classify copper coins into 3 main categories: red, red-brown, and brown. A fully red coin with original luster is the most desirable and can significantly increase the value. The 1997 D Lincoln cent is made mostly of zinc with a thin copper coating, a composition that has been used since 1982. Because of this, finding a coin in perfect condition without scratches or discoloration is more difficult than you might think. So how do you know if your coin is valuable? Start by checking the condition. Look for shine, detail, and any unusual features. Then check for errors. Even a small doubling in the letters or numbers can make a big difference. Also, never clean your coin. Cleaning can destroy its value instantly. Collectors prefer coins in their original state, even if they look a little worn. If you believe you have a rare coin, consider getting it graded by a professional service. A certified coin with a high grade can attract serious buyers and higher prices. The story of the 1997 D Lincoln penny reminds us of something powerful. Value is not always obvious. Sometimes the smallest and most common objects can hold hidden worth. Imagine finding a coin in your pocket change that could be worth far more than you ever expected. That is the magic of coin collecting, and that is why millions of people around the world search through their coins every single day. So next time you see a 1997 D penny, do not ignore it. Take a closer look. You might be holding a hidden treasure. Today we are diving deep into one of the most overlooked yet surprisingly valuable coins in American history, the 2001 Lincoln 1-cent coin. At first glance it looks like an ordinary penny you might ignore in your pocket, but what if I told you that some of these coins have reached incredible values and could be worth far more than just 1 cent? This coin belongs to the famous Lincoln cent series, a design that has captured the heart of collectors for over a century. First introduced in 1909 to honor the legendary American President Abraham Lincoln, this coin became the first U.S. currency to feature a real historical figure. That alone makes every Lincoln penny a small piece of American history. Now let us focus on the 2001 D penny. The letter D stands for the Denver Mint, one of the major facilities responsible for producing circulating coins in the United States. Millions of these pennies were minted in 2001, which is why most people assume they are common and not valuable. But here is where things get interesting. Not all coins are created equal. Some 2001 D pennies were struck with exceptional quality, sharp details, and flawless surfaces. These high-grade coins, especially those graded MS-67 or higher, can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition and rarity. Collectors are always searching for coins that stand out from the rest, and when they find one, they are willing to pay big money. The design of the coin is simple yet iconic. On the front, you see the calm and dignified portrait of Abraham Lincoln. The word Liberty appears on the left, and the year 2001 is stamped clearly. On the back, you find the Lincoln Memorial, a tribute to one of the most respected leaders in American history. This design was used from 1959 until 2008, making it one of the longest-running reverse designs in U.S. coinage. Now let us talk about the value that everyone is curious about. A normal circulated 2001 D penny is usually worth only 1 cent. But when you move into uncirculated condition, the value can rise to a few dollars. However, the real excitement begins with rare mint state examples. Some top-condition coins have reached values like $768 or even higher in special cases. These prices depend on grading, eye appeal, and demand in the collector market. There are also error coins, and this is where hidden treasure truly exists. A small mistake during the minting process can turn an ordinary penny into a rare collectible. Double strikes, off-center errors, and die cracks can all increase the value dramatically. Imagine finding a coin in your change that could be worth hundreds or even thousands just because of a tiny imperfection. Another important factor is grading. Professional grading companies carefully examine coins and assign them a grade based on condition. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. A difference of just one grade point can mean the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and one worth hundreds. Collectors also love coins with original red color. Copper coins naturally darken over time, so a bright red 2001 D penny is much more desirable. If you happen to find one that looks fresh and shiny like it just came from the mint, you might be holding something special. The story of the 2001 D penny reminds us of an important lesson. Value is not always obvious. Sometimes the most ordinary-looking items can hold extraordinary worth. That is why coin collecting is not just a hobby, it is a treasure hunt where knowledge is your greatest tool. So next time you receive change, take a closer look at your pennies. Check the date, look for the mint mark, examine the condition, and search for anything unusual. You never know when you might discover a hidden gem that could change your life. Today we are diving deep into one of the most surprising coins you might have in your pocket right now, the 1997 D Lincoln cent, a simple 1-cent coin that most people ignore but collectors never overlook. This coin belongs to the legendary Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor one of the most respected leaders in American history, Abraham Lincoln. For decades, this coin has captured the imagination of collectors around the world, and the 1997 D version is no exception. The D mint mark on this coin tells us it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the major coin-producing facilities in the United States. Millions of these coins were produced, but here is where things get interesting. Not all coins are created equal. At first glance, the 1997 D Lincoln penny looks ordinary. On the front, you see Lincoln's portrait with the word Liberty proudly displayed, along with the year 1997 and the mint mark D. On the reverse, you will find the Lincoln Memorial, a design that remained on pennies from 1959 until 2008, but collectors know something the average person does not know. Hidden among these millions of coins are rare varieties, mint errors, and high-grade specimens that can turn a simple penny into a valuable treasure. Let's talk about value, because that is what everyone wants to know. A normal circulated 1997 D penny is usually worth just 1 cent. Yes, just face value. But when you step into the world of coin grading, everything changes. Coins are graded on their condition, and uncirculated coins with sharp details and original mint shine are much more valuable. In high grades like MS65 or MS67, this coin can sell for several dollars. Welcome back to RFCONS, the place where small coins tell big stories and hidden treasures come to life. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1968 D Lincoln 1-cent coin. At first glance it looks like just another ordinary penny, but if you stay with me, you might discover that this tiny copper coin could be worth far more than you ever imagined. The 1968 D Lincoln cent is part of the legendary Lincoln penny series, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. This coin carries a powerful legacy because it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the front of the coin shows Lincoln's iconic profile along with the word Liberty and the year 1968. Just below the date, you will notice a small letter D. This D mint mark tells us the coin was produced at the Denver Mint. Now let's talk about what makes the 1968 D penny special. Millions of these coins were produced, which means most of them are very common. But here is where things get exciting. Not all coins are created equal. Some coins, due to their condition, rarity, or minting errors, can become extremely valuable. And this is exactly what collectors are hunting for. The average circulated 1968 D penny is usually worth only a few cents. But when you find one in uncirculated condition, meaning it has never been used in daily transactions, the value starts to rise. Coins with a bright red color, known as red condition, are especially desirable. These coins can sell for several dollars, sometimes even more depending on quality, but here comes the real treasure story. Certain high-grade examples of the 1968 D Lincoln cent have been sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Why? Because grading plays a huge role. Coins are graded on a scale, and the higher the grade, the rarer the coin becomes. A near-perfect coin with sharp details, no scratches, and strong luster can command serious money in the market, and then there are error coins. Error coins are where things get truly exciting. A 1968 D penny with a double die, off-center strike, or other minting mistake can be worth a lot more than a normal coin. Collectors love errors because they are unique and rare. Imagine finding a coin in your pocket change that could be worth hundreds or even thousands. That is the thrill of coin collecting. Now let's address the number you have been waiting for. Some rare and high-grade 1968 D Lincoln pennies have reached values like $768 or even higher depending on condition and uniqueness. While $768.659 may sound very specific, real auction prices vary, but the point is clear. This small coin has the potential to be worth a lot more than 1 cent. The history of this coin is also connected to an important time in the United States. The late 1960s were a period of change and transformation. Despite the challenges of that era, the Lincoln cent continued to be produced as a symbol of stability and tradition. It remained a part of everyday life, passing through millions of hands, each coin carrying a story. Another interesting detail is the metal composition. The 1968 penny is made mostly of copper, which gives it that classic reddish-brown color. Over time, coins can turn darker due to oxidation, and this affects their value. Bright red coins are always more valuable than brown ones. So how can you tell if your 1968 D penny is valuable? Start by checking the condition. Look at the shine, the details in Lincoln's face, and the lettering. Then check for any unusual features like doubling or misalignment. If you think you have something special, it might be worth getting it professionally graded. Coin collecting is not just about money. It is about history, discovery, and excitement. Every coin has a story, and sometimes that story leads to unexpected treasure. The 1968 D. Lincoln cent is a perfect example of how something so small can hold so much value. So next time you see a penny, do not ignore it. Take a closer look. You might be holding a hidden gem. And who knows, that simple coin in your hand could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the legendary 1975 D. Liberty 1-cent coin, a simple copper penny that might be sitting quietly in your collection but could be worth far more than you ever imagined. When you hear the words 1-cent coin, you probably think of something small, something common, something easily ignored. But in the world of coin collecting, even the smallest coin can carry a massive story and an even bigger value. The 1975